The ultimate gaming event is back. April 4th through the 6th, the Midwest Gaming Classic returns to the Baird Center in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Get ready for over 350,000 square feet of non-stop gaming action, showcasing the latest modern and retro game consoles, pinball machines, arcade games, tabletop, and so much more. Meet industry professionals, join engaging live panels, and explore the expansive vendor hall, the largest of its kind. Best of all, kids 9 and under are free. Grab your tickets online at MidwestGamingClassic.com or at the Baird Center. Welcome to the next level.
Hello, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 16 of the Midwest Gaming Classic podcast. I'm your host, Jason Garris, panel director of the Midwest Gaming Classic. When Nintendo decided to run an updated version of their Nintendo World Championship in 2015, Tim Hanson and Chris Bidwell won the right to represent the Midwest in the competition. Tim and Chris will share stories about winning their respective regional tournaments, share tips on how to achieve high scores on NWC Remix, and relive the drama of the finals at E3 in Los Angeles. And you know what? Enough of me talking. Why don't we get to the podcast?
Nintendo decided to bring back the Nintendo World Championship in 2015. When they did, Chris Bidwell and Tim Hanson became the regional qualifiers for the Midwest, and they were invited to go to E3 to play in the finals. Hear their stories of participating in this updated version of the classic Nintendo competition.
Everybody kind of remembers the 1990 Nintendo World Championships. It's one of those mythical Nintendo, one of those. It's legendary beyond all the people that even were in it. And 2 years ago, Nintendo decided just out of nowhere, oh, let's do another one. But instead of touring around 30 cities and putting on a big production, they just sort of said, okay, we're going to do this at 8 Best Buys. So. All across the entire country. So Tim went from, I'll let you do your bit, but I drove from Columbus, Ohio all the way to Chicago to compete, and won my regional and ended up in LA and meeting this guy and these people on the screen here. And I'll let you take your turn about your story, how you figured it out.
When I was a kid, I watched the movie The Wizard, and it was always a dream of mine to it was cool. It was the coolest thing in the world as a kid. And when I heard that they were doing it near us in Maple Grove, Minnesota, I decided to go up. I'm not very good at Dr. Mario, so my whole thing was I just wanted to say I partaked in the activity. And I ended up setting the high score for Maple Grove at 10 a.m. and it stayed the entire day. I had one lucky run, that was it. I think I won with a score of 2.8. What was yours?
Mine was 297, so not much better. But it's one of those games, we'll go into it a little bit, that you can have like a really terrible game or really, really over-the-top game. It's not consistent at all. It requires some luck. Obviously skill too, but it does require getting the right pieces and getting the right formations and stuff. And I got a little video thing we're going to show about how to do a high score in that. So when we got to LA, it wasn't anything like the 1990 version where everybody just played the same 3 games over and over and over and over and over again. This time around they had 8 people who qualified and they had 8 internet celebrity type people. You can sell like the people that with the really wide smiles on there that they were probably internet celebrities and used to being on camera versus the us chubby guys who were in the back who were just kind of doing the best we can. Right. Oh, we'll go into him. So they did it like a reality show, and the first game, and all the games were blind except for 2. So they had us play Splatoon, which was their new hit at the time. It had only been out for a month, and they didn't tell us what team we were on. They divided us into 4 teams of 4. We didn't know who our teammates were. They just said, go pick a weapon. We got to pick a weapon. And that's kind of how an online match works. You don't really know who your team is, and you just get grouped together. And my team lost both matches, so we all 4 of us picked the regular gun, the Spider Shot Junior. None of us picked a roller. And if you play Splatoon, you know that to gain territory, you need at least one paint roller person to be good at it. And none of us were great, so we kind of floundered while the other teams advanced. So they stuck us 4 losers into a race in The Legend of Zelda. We went from the beginning of the game to the first piece of Triforce, and whoever won got to stay in while the other people were kicked out. So I'll bring up the video of that and kind of tell you how that went about here. There won't be any audio with this.
Do this.
All right, we're gonna get to it right now.
What? There is
The game
audio. How about that?
To go. Are you guys ready for this? Let's do this.
Let's go.
All right, let's get to it in 3, 2, 1.
So that's me up in the upper left-hand corner.
Here we are.
My name's my screen name's DSG 4000. I'm gonna mute that.
Everyone saying it's dangerous to go alone. And there's that.
Right, so looks like they've all got the sword. They're making their way.
I muted it.
Don't mind those up.
There we go. So it's a race to the end of the first dungeon, and you would think that don't fight any enemies, just go straight to the end as fast as you can. But up here on this screen right before the first dungeon, there's a blue Octorok. If you manage to kill the blue Octorok and get lucky, whether you kill him 1st, 5th, or 6th, he drops a bomb. And that significantly reduces the time it takes to get to the end of the first dungeon. When I was doing my practice runs, killing that blue Octorok first was difficult because there's so much traffic on the screen. So my idea was to kill him 5th and have him drop the bomb. So that's why I was taking more time to get my path on this. So I'll hit play again, and you'll see I'm falling behind because I did it and I made mistakes. So there's the other 2 competitors are already in the dungeon in front of me, and I didn't have the bomb, so I'm not in good shape right here. So there's a little trick here. If you enter and exit the first dungeon, or any of the dungeons that have a key in that first room, if you exit and enter immediately again, the key goes away, the locked door goes away. So that's one trick to increase your time. So that's what everybody's doing because we kind of shared tips on this. And you'll see Mr. Blarney and TMR are going into the right room first to get a key. My strategy was a little bit different. I would go into the left room first to get a key. It's harder to get a key here, but with full hearts you can shoot those 3 bats really quickly. But unfortunately I screwed up again and I didn't have full hearts, so you're gonna watch me flounder around in here while my heart's racing and there's hundreds of thousands of people watching online and making fun of me. So there's my key there, but you'll see Mr. Blarney and TMR are already have their 1 key and they're advancing north. My strategy was to get both keys in the left and right room, and that's the only keys I would need for the entire dungeon, whereas they're going to get one later on, so I'm going to make up time there. So we'll progress here a bit. TMR in the right-hand corner, we were playing on the Wii U, and if you're familiar with the Wii U that had the virtual console, it's got the triggers at the top, and he accidentally hit the triggers to trigger this, and he's not used to the Wii U, so he'd struggle for a few seconds here trying to get back to the action while the hosts were making jokes about checking his Miiverse and stuff. So I finally got my second key, and TMR and Mr. Blarney are kind of neck and neck at this point. But at this point, I can go all the way to the room right before the boss without having to make any detours, while they're going up to the top here. And it's kind of hard to keep track of 4 players at once. I'd zoom in. Alright, so you'll see that Mr. Blarney and Timo both are struggling here. They both have half a heart left, and getting through this without taking any damage at all is going to be difficult. Whereas I'm going straight through here. This is probably my most glorious moment of the whole competition. I'll rewind just a little bit. I know I'm behind at this point, but right here, I'm going to go straight from the left side to the right side of the room without taking any damage or... while TMR passes away at that point, Mr. Blarney's in the boss room. He's going to have half a heart and he gets nailed right away. Then immediately after, I'm at the boss room, but I go above the dragon rather than in front of it, and I manage to finish it off. And there's my big moment of glory. All the announcers are praising me and stuff, and that was it. So, yeah. But that was, I had a strategy, failed to perform it, but because everybody else was having nerves or the Wii U lag with that sort of thing, I managed to pull it out and have my, one big hit, being the old guy at the competition. After that, they had us play, let's close this out. After that, they had the people who were remaining in the competition, not me. I was stuck on this couch over on the side while waiting my next turn to be eliminated. They had us play Blast Ball, and it was supposed to be a big world premiere. And they had us practice it backstage beforehand, and then when they announced it at the stage, maybe one person cheered for it. Everybody was just kind of staring like, what is this game? It was this Metroid soccer Rocket League sort of thing, and nobody gave a crap about it. It was pretty awful. And then the losing team of that, Timsy was part of the losing team there. And then they had us race at the end of Super Metroid, which I'll let find my video here.
They want to like record all the stuff. And they want to like.
Nope, that's not that one. Like fine, and I'll have.
Okay. I do want to go back one thing with Splatoon. It was really cool to see it played, how Nintendo is actually wanting it to be played. There is definitely an esports situation coming up with Splatoon because it's a fantastic third-person shooter. Yeah, it's kiddie in its own way, but the concept behind the game is amazing. I have a lot of fun with it. I still play it.
I'll let you call this one.
You want me to call this one?
This was your big race here.
Aww.
So, Sinister is a speedrunner in this game. He's going to be in the top middle, and I think they anticipated him winning this because they kind of kept up with him the entire time.
Yeah, so when the starting music played, Sinister was just immediately screamed because he was so happy this game was in it. And from that point, I'm like, yeah, this is done.
And again,
the Wii U, the triggers are terrible spots for the Virtual Console.
Yeah, also, what I messed up there, the triggers in Super Metroid, you hold them to aim upward. So I was pushing the trigger, in the original and Super NES version. And then in this version, the trigger brings up the cold console menu. And there was the trigger and the shoulder button, which I got confused, and so did everybody else. I'll let you keep going.
I just want to point out I didn't know that when I played this.
Champion. Oh, look, there I am.
So it was really hard not to look at everybody else's screens to see, where they were in comparison to yourself.
So just stay on
You can definitely see the people that have played Metroid compared to those that haven't.
We're blind. We didn't know we were even playing this going in.
Nope. And I think the last time I played this game was maybe 8 or 9. And even then, I don't think I ever actually fully made it through the game. So the point here is to angle up and shoot Mother Brain in the face, or my tactic was jumping.
I'm gonna love it when you both
So the first stage, you can see people, like Ascension's still on it. The point of there is to break the glass and damage Mother Brain. Once you've done that, you unleash her, and you can see her in the other 4.
Look, there's Timsy.
Yeah, I'm jumping and shooting.
Oh, there's your face.
Oh, my face.
Sinister, the speedrunner, he knows that this strategy at this point is to use charge beams, whereas the rest of us noobs are using missiles. And this is where he makes up his lost time and finishes. And you're going to see here, upcoming, when you get to a certain health point, there I screwed up again, the Mother Brain knocks your energy down to near 0, and then the baby Metroid's supposed to rescue you. But in my case, there's a glitch and something happened, and the baby Metroid never came, and my game was over. Not that I would have won this, and I didn't really care, but you'll kind of watch in the upper left there.
I'm not sure who this is.
Probably Sinister.
Yep, that was Sinister. So the same thing happened to BSG there, except his glitched out and it killed him.
Fast forward a bit here.
Yeah.
All right. You can see me up in the corner. I'm supposed to, the baby Metroid's supposed to come like at Sinister's, but I died. My screen was frozen. But I was going to be a good sport about it. I was already behind, so I wasn't going to complain much. So I go in the back behind Sinister, and Timsy's still in it, and he's about to. He's neck and neck with Sinister right now. I think he's a little ahead. No, he's a little behind me.
But I was like, it's time for my car. I don't need her for my collection.
There is a pretty cool speedrun strat to this where if you're jumping on the wall, you can get Metroid to grab you while standing, which saves like upwards of 20 to 30 seconds when speedrunning this game.
Yep. Where's the big heroic moment?
Now you get the supercharge, and you just basically stand still and shoot her.
At this point, I think only 2 people are left. I think the glitch also happened to, well, not Essential, I think Burn. So here's the race at the end now. If you know, we talked about the lag with the Wii before. There's a lot of speedrun tricks that you can do with the Shine Spark and the wall jumping. But Sinister was having a really awful time trying to match up the lag. You'll see he'll hit a couple of these wall jumps, but then he'll miss a lot of them. So, you know, he didn't want to embarrass himself, and I was kind of behind him, and I just started rooting him on a little bit after this section here. I just kind of told him, just don't go for the speed. You're ahead. Just do the regular strat. Just keep going. And he's fairly well known on Twitch in the retro speedrun community, so, and he shouted out to me about helping him out in this situation. You're going to see here the lava's going to come up, and he's going to hit a wall jump here, and then all of a sudden he's going to fall back into the lava. And he didn't panic, but he was on the verge of panicking, so I kind of glad that he didn't embarrass himself.
Yeah, when I was racing through here, I had no idea where to go. I was completely guessing, didn't have any idea of the strats that he was using.
There's your process. So
yeah, so there you go. As you can see, I'm just doing it normally, like how I anticipated to play the game.
Don't save the animals.
Yep, we did save the animals. Although that would have been pretty cocky on his part.
Yeah. He would have lost if he'd done that. And he wins.
So they didn't show it, but my game ended with me getting ready to run the straight line through to go out the door. So I was within 10 seconds behind Sinister. Yeah, in my mind, that was one way to go out swinging. I was glad that I got taken out by somebody that speedran a game. Especially when everybody else got knocked out, so.
I still don't know.
Yeah, those are our 2 glory moments. And then the competition went on. We were backstage. We cheered everybody on. Weirdly, there were no prizes for this. It's odd. Like the 1990 version, they gave away like a Geo Metro and savings bonds and stuff. And all we really got out of it was just the trip to LA and exposure for the people, like the celebrities that were looking to get their exposure. So it was an odd. I'm super glad I went. I mean, we were eating lunch next to Miyamoto and stuff, and you get to be on stage with him. But then I couldn't get his autograph, so it was a weird. I love that they did it again, but again, we were kind of. I don't know. What would you call it? It was.
I got a high five from Reggie.
You got a high five from Reggie. He tapped me on the back. So.
He's actually a lot taller than he looks.
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy. So, did anybody have any questions about the event itself? Did anybody watch it? I'll go into how to play NES Remix on the next section, but before we move to the next section, does anybody watch it or have any feelings about it? Yeah.
Did you guys, for the first round in Maple Grove,
yeah.
Did you train with the original games or the NES Remix for that competition?
The NES Remix was on, they used the 3DS version, right, which is not nearly as laggy as the Wii U version. I played on my 3DS. And I was up, my highest score at the time was about in the 5 million range, but again, that wasn't by every game. I was only getting like 1 to 2 million every time. So I knew I was good, but I didn't know, and you had to have a lucky game, and I did get it, but it wasn't like John Numbers or any of the higher people. I've since gotten a lot better at it, and I'm going to show you a couple of games on here in a little bit, but yeah, I trained on 3DS. What about you?
I had the bad Dr. Mario. I failed horribly at Dr. Mario.
Yeah, it's odd, because when you play Dr. Mario, it's odd because when you play Dr. Mario, normally you're playing against another person, so you're not trying to get a score. Like it's and when I go into the scoring thing, we go into it later with how to get a high score, and it's counterintuitive and weird, and it's really not a good judge of how good of a Nintendo player you are. But I'm happy I got it. I see a little girl back there with her hand up.
I watched it.
You watched it? Did you watch me? This little girl, when I'm gonna tear up. She had this waiting for me when I got home from LA. So yeah, that I try to treat the whole thing like I was 13, but she got to see that part with me, and that's better than winning any crappy prize from, what they gave us, like little figurines and stuff as little mementos, and that's all we really got. We didn't even get like a gold cartridge like they did in '90. So anybody else have a question before we go to the other part? Nope. Okay. So back in 1990, the Nintendo World Championship was Super Mario Brothers, Rad Racer, and Tetris. And Tetris was the money game. Really good Tetris players won it. It was essentially a Tetris competition. Then the next year in 1991, they had that's the remix. They had the Nintendo Campus Challenge, which didn't go to as many cities. It was a little lower key event. Where did my picture go? No, it's not up there. But the Nintendo the Nintendo Campus Challenge was Super Mario Brothers 3, Pinbot, and Dr. Mario. But the winner, Steve Lucas, who might have come up here this weekend, I don't know if he's here or not, he won the competition by point pressing on Super Mario Brothers 3. There's in level 1-2. There's this part where Goombas come out of the pipe constantly, so you can just kind of multiple jump on them over and over and over again. And the score multiplier was 10, so unless you were really good at Dr. Mario, the Super Mario Brothers 3 strategy was the better way to win that competition. That's how he did it. On this version that they made for the 2015 version, they moved the multiplier of Super Mario Bros. 3 down to 1. So you couldn't use that strategy anymore. So you had to do the Dr. Mario point strategy because the multiplier was 100. So we'll show the scoring system here in the instruction booklet. You see in this middle column here, one virus is 200 points in the game, but with a 100 multiplier, it's 20,000 points. So if you go down to here with 64, that is 640,000 points for a single virus, and that's where you get your multipliers. So if you look at this chart, when you're actually playing the game, you want to try to make virus chains in Dr. Mario, and anything over 6, you can see you could get into the multiple millions. So if you make one single mistake or get a couple extra lucky viruses, your score is going to go way, way, way up. So I'll show you a couple videos here of how to set up some of these chains. You got to make basically a Rube Goldberg machine. Let's see here.
There were
So if you go through this part here, I'm playing in double speed, so you don't have to watch it. The strategy to get through Super Mario Brothers 1, you have to get 50 coins as fast as possible. So what you want to do is go through World 1-1, go down the pipe, get the coins, kill yourself with those Goombas right after the pipe, and then you'll start the middle point of the stage where there's a 10 coin block. So you get the 10 coin block as fast as you can, kill yourself again, and then in the next cycle through you'll get to 50, you'll go on. Now, most people are going to do the second strategy, which works just as well if you're quick, is to go down the pipe again, get the coins, and then advance on to World 1-2. And you do get a few more points doing this, but you're going to lose 5 to 10 seconds, which is, I would say, crucial, but it helps. But if you do make a mistake and go to World 1-2 instead, like it hit both of those Goombas by accident, you don't need to reset your game and throw it out. Just race as fast as you can to this pipe, you'll get to your 50 and go on. Now this strategy is the one I like to do, it kind of blends the two. So you get the coins, kill yourself. And then instead of killing yourself right immediately, you hit this turtle and you push it forward. And if you get all the Goombas, you get up to 5,000 points. Then you kill yourself with the turtle's shell bouncing off of that stair. And if you do it again, I'm gonna get a good 30-some thousand points, which it doubles, so I get like 70,000. So it's a nice head start, and the official tiebreaker was your Super Mario Bros. 1 score. So it kind of helps to point press just a little tiny bit on that one. So that's what I like to do. And then in Mario 3 here, if you're not a speedrunner, the best way to do this is basically just to get the flea, fly up into the sky, get all the coins up here, and get 25 coins as fast as you can. And if you do make a mistake, there's a place where you can make up for it. Say like you lose your, like in this case, I'm gonna hit this block and it'll fall down by accident. Over here, there's a P block that'll switch all those into coins, and you can get your 25 coins real quick that way. So now here's some of the Rube Goldberg machines. The thing to realize is when you set up a block like that horizontally, I can lay stuff on top of that blue block and it'll fall down and hit that guy underneath. So I can use this guy who's at the top of the formation as sort of a platform to set up all the viruses underneath. So if I set up 3 blue blocks on top of that one, or have 3 total blocks there, 3 total blocks on the red one, and then I'm gonna set up 2 there and just have 1 over on the right, I can take care of all these guys at one time. So I've got the 3 on the far left, 3 on the 3 blue ones, and I got the 4 lined up on the right, and then I get 1 here, and I'm going to get 3,000 points, which equals 300,000 in the competition. But with this first stage, since there's only 4 viruses, unless you can get that quickly, it's not worth wasting your time setting up this big complicated chain for just 4 viruses. You want to get at least 6. So in this case, I'm probably going to, this is another example, I think. But I'm taking a little bit more time in this one, and it's probably not the most prudent strategy. So I'll move forward here a little bit. There's another one. So here's a level 1 with 8 viruses total. Now, if you're going to get 4 or 5, it's not worth using all this precious time to get it. You want to make sure you get at least 6. That's your magic number. So you don't need to get this complicated, especially like those guys on the bottom. I could have just stuck with the ones among the top, but you can kind of see what's going to happen here. When I trigger that guy on the far right, it's going to drop the first, the yellow guy, then into the blue guy. So I'm going to get 7 on this one, but it's quick. That's the important part. And it's going to leave this guy at the bottom. I can get him really quickly. But there, it's 2.2 million. And that would have won several of the regions just with that, with 3 minutes to go. So here's another one that's fairly well spread out, but there's a one over here that, let's see here. Okay, like all these guys along the bottom, this isn't very well suited. Plus, if you run in a situation where you have, see those 2 yellow guys? You can't have anything above it. You can't get two yellow guys in the same vertical column unless you put pieces in between, and that makes it even more complicated. So what I'm going to do here is just race through it as fast as I can and get to the stages with more viruses to try again. And you can, there's maybe, well, and it's probably also a good thing to have garbage piles on the far side to keep your, all right, so here's a good one. It's nice because there's people at the top, there's people underneath, there's good space. I can set up a nice step ladder, and I got rid of those guys over on the far left to have a place to put my garbage so that it keeps it fairly clean and I won't like chop out by accident. And then we'll do something a little tricky here and get those 2 red guys in the same chain. I'm going to flip that, and it's going to get both of them at the same time, and you see how everybody else is lined up. And you see the yellow guy in the middle there. I have the blue piece up on top. He's going to get the 3 underneath. It gets, the more you play it, the more you get used to it. It's really not intuitive at first, but once you get the hang of it, you can get good scores. But that's kind of why the 90 the competition in 2015 was so varied. There was a couple guys that were really good, like John Numbers, who won the whole thing, and Packy, who has the current record on it with 14 million, versus guys like me at the time who only had like 3 to 4 million. I've gotten a lot better since, but back then I was only. But you'll see there. Oh. If you get too many at once, you'll crash the game. If that happens, to bang on all your buttons, you might get out of it. And this was my best game of the day when I was recording it. I got 9.3 million on this one. But if you keep practicing and try to just aim for 6, 6, 6, and then 7s and then higher, you can get into multi-million scores and get on the scoreboard. Because most people are going to go for 2s or less to just try to get scores that way. Anybody have any questions on this, or is this just hard to watch, or it's a puzzle game? No. What? Okay. Well, we've got nothing else. One of the cool things afterwards was Walter Day made trading cards for all 8 of us, so I've got a whole stack of them. I don't know what else to do, so if anybody would like one, I'd gladly give you one and sign one. And the gentleman who asked me the question earlier, I have a signed copy of NES Remix by me and Timsy and Packy and Fernsig, who was also one of my friends who's since the competition. So thanks for coming out. And I want my backpack. So thanks for coming out, guys. I guess that's it.
All right. Thank you, Tim and Chris.
And there you go. That's the end of this podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, learning about what happened at the 2015 Nintendo World Championship by both Tim Hanson and Chris Bidwell at the 2017 Midwest Gaming Classic. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the podcast and the channel immensely. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and game on.